Do you see any way, put your head to this, is there any combination that you see that's viable the Democrats can throw up there that's going to unify their party? Or are they looking at different flavors of broken, some worse than others?
It's a good question. It really is, because it's so early. I mean, we should be talking about who won Iowa, and here we are, and it's technically Thursday, and we still don't know who won Iowa. I mean, it's such a messed up cycle. We're looking at these tracking polls in New Hampshire, still don't know what the hell's going on there. Is there enough time for Buttigieg to get the bump that he normally would have got
Hmm?
had they settled this thing? I don't know. I think Bernie might hold on in New Hampshire because of the familiarity, the uh, geographic relativity, or whatever you want to call it, of being in Vermont. I think he might hold on, but realistically, Bernie's got to like fly out that night and just get out to Nevada and just hammer it. I mean, hammer, because Nevada has caucuses, not primary, not the same caucus that we do in Iowa, thank God, but a caucus nonetheless, which means it's vote by body, vote by person, vote in person. It's going to be a very intense drive out, and never forget that they missed by like double digit percentile their turnout proposals that they said that they were going to get in Iowa.
Right.
So this energy to feel the burn hasn't happened yet. We'll see.
It's almost like the Democrats have a flat tire. They're trying to run the race, but one of their tires is severely lacking air.
Well,
Could it be this impeachment thing has demoralized some of them?
oh yeah, I think this today has been a bad day. Iowa State of the Union, impeachment, acquittal, all rolled up into like a ball of shit. Really, I mean that's kind of what's happening. And when you get a ball of shit and it tends to start to move, it's hard to stop, and it tends to collect more shit. So as long as we don't get in the way, I don't think things are going to turn around in a good way for the Democrats. I would just say step out of the way, let them do what they're doing, kind of massage it a little bit, oil up the alleyways, do what you got to do to keep them going the direction they're going, because everything they're doing is running counterintuitive to political gamesmanship. And the voting population, at least the polling population, ain't buying it. I mean, so as Democrats, you have to like ask yourself, look in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong? As Republicans, you don't have to do anything other than say, back up, back up. The old adage, don't interfere while your enemy's making a mistake. And that is now truer than ever. So what Trump says tomorrow at noon matters a lot. If Trump can establish his statement, he's making a national statement tomorrow at noon for everybody who doesn't know, on the whole impeachment process and conclusion. If Trump gets out there and does the whole, you know, bragging and, chest beating bullshit, we're right back to square
That's
one.
not going to happen.
You know,
That would have happened at
I
the
think he's going to come out and say how dangerous it is for the
right.
country, how grateful he is that people made the right decisions on it. Uh, I hope he leaves it at that. And then he'll take questions. If he takes questions and it goes down to what do you think of Nancy ripping your speech up, and he just decides to go down this road and say it's pathetic, she's a loser, this is what losers do. Now we're right back. We're in the mud again. Right now we're out of the mud. It's all, and Democrats are in the mud pool. They're doing the whole mud wrestling thing. We're out of it right now. If the president so chooses to act like a gracious person tomorrow and thank the Republicans that saw through what was their attempt to do to him was, then he wins out the day. If he falls back into his insult arama this close to the victory that he had, I think he loses a lot of goodwill. So it's just not the first time that I've advocated that Trump hold back the horses on his ego and just take one for the team, because the team did a lot of work for him. And that's the truth. I mean, Mr. President, if there was ever a time to be not about you and make it about the Senate and what they went through and how they did it and how they got it done for you, and how the House Republicans stood for you. Not only did they stand so tall for you that they brought a Democrat over into their caucus because of the outrage of the impeachment. You have a chance to do it right. I know if I were writing the speech, what it would say. I'm not writing it. I hope whoever put together last night's demonstration puts together tomorrow's demonstration. I hope whoever put together the State of the Union in its entirety shows Trump the results of the Insta polling about the popular nation response to it, and says, do that again tomorrow in some way and you're onto something. That's what I hope, but I don't know.
Thank you, Bud Keegan.
So I want to say one other thing. Susan Collins is in the fight of her life, and she waffled a little bit in the Kavanaugh hearing period. She's not on the committee, but she was waffling a little bit behind the scenes, but she stood strong while Murkowski decided to do whatever she did. And she made one of the most impassioned pleas on the floor of the Senate that we've heard in a long time. And she's proud of her vote. And she's taken nothing but shit. If you listen to the interview tonight that she had, I believe it was Martha McCallum, it's death threats, all that shit had been revisited by her 2 not guilty votes today, where they've called and threatened her life, her family. And I myself have been a critic at time, but this woman has stood up twice for us, for the president. And she's in a hostile state of Maine, where we will not win either of the delegates that they put up, maybe one if we're lucky. But I want people to lay off Susan Collins. I think that she put the spotlight down on Mitt. Murkowski, Lamar Alexander, Susan Collins. They say they respect Mitt's decision to come with whatever he came to, but I got to say they're probably feeling, you're conscious, so you can't sleep at night if you vote not guilty, but the rest of us, what are we all? Heathens? Ungodly folk? We don't have magic underwear on?
I would assume, am I wrong in assuming that Mitt Romney is going to find it real lonely going to the cafeteria over there? Suddenly there'll be no tables with chairs available for him to sit with other people. Democrats don't want him. I would assume most Republicans don't want him at this point, cold shoulders and all that.
Yeah, sure, but he brought that hell upon himself, and now he's being praised by the likes of Senator Whitehouse.
No, I know. I saw libs.
Blumenthal.
I saw a bunch of libs
Yeah.
praising him today, and I was taunting all these libs, saying, yet, state for the record, you will actually vote for him. People from Utah, Democrats from Utah were saying, I love Mitt Romney now. And I'm like, but will you be voting for him next time around? Of course not. What's the value of their support? They're going to vote for the Democrat. That's what they're going to do. They do.
Yeah, Cindy, a lot of his colleagues approached him and said that they respected his opinion, that he was wrong. Um, he had one shot to put a bullet in the president, and he knew it wasn't going to be a kill shot, but he just figured he had to take it, and he
Do
did.
you think he entered the Senate just so he could do this? That he had no desire for a political career? This was just like, he humiliated me. What do I have to do to hurt him? I have to become a senator.
Well, I think that he's always enjoyed this notion of being. He's run for Senate before and lost, and he likes being part of this exclusive club, and now he made himself so exclusive he has a club of one, which isn't that great. But to answer your question, I think that he has betrayed his state in some ways that they're not going to forgive, and it's very hard. It's very hard to hold office when you are just getting nothing but ire from the people that you represent. And he has put himself in that position. The whole point, the whole point of representative government is that you remove yourself from your own predilection. You remove yourself from your own, predetermined result that you would want, and you bow or defer to the voters that put you there. He defied that, and that's a deeper breach of trust than his oath as a juror in in the Senate for this trial.
But what I'm asking, do you think he entered the Senate specifically to do this?
No, I mean, clearly he didn't know that there was going to be this. I mean, you can guess maybe, oh, there'll be an impeachment effort or whatever. I can screw Trump over at some point. My answer is yes. One of the draws of it, besides being in the world's most exclusive club, is that if he had a chance to fire a bullet at the president, he was going to do it. So he did it. This is it. And it's certainly not a kill shot.
No,
It's a
and
total flesh wound.
we know from ancient history, if you're going to strike the king, you better kill him. But let's think this through. So when Trump gets reelected and he's in the Senate, a Senate now that I would assume universally hates him, right?
Depends on who you listen to. Um, some say that they're grateful that he took all the arrows in the chest. And then you talk to others that say that the others are furious because he acts like he's the only one with a conscience. So listen, who knows? I if I could talk to all 52 other ones, I would, but I hear what I hear. I mean, in the end, what does it matter? I've always said that. I mean, I told you I was uncomfortable with the notion of having a majority go to convict. I mean, I knew that would ruin the relationship of the Senate and the president, and that it would be awful. And we were never even close to that. So I'm happy, very happy. But I don't like champagne very much.
Champagne was always something that the first half glass was like ecstasy. Then it's all downhill from.
Maybe the real stuff,
Yes,
but not this.
the real stuff, Adam, not the plastic
Yeah, the
cap
Dom.
one.
The
No.
Dom. Actually, I had a friend of mine who tried to send up a bottle of Dom Perignon for me to celebrate tonight, but you can't get liquor across
Nope.
all these state
No, you
lines.
can't.
So,
No, you can't.
and
Especially
plus,
not backward Pennsylvania with its bizarre
yeah,
alcohol laws.
I feel good drinking California vineyard Champagne than I would even France right now,
Is that a
because
champagne
Pelosi
food
sucks.
product? Is that what it's called? Champagne food product?
Yeah, Michelle's correct. It is probably going to be a headache, but whatever. My wife said, if you open that, you finish it. And I said, can you stay down here long enough for me to give you a glass of it, please? And she's like, nope, I'm going to bed. So
Yeah, that's true. Uh, Trump pulled Mitt over the finish line.
I'm
Or
not one to believe that, but the polls I saw never indicated that at all. So he had a choice. He can live in almost like being a ghost in the caucus for another
year or
4
two.
years, or he can hang it up. It's up to him. But Mitch said several times tonight, we're going to need him on a lot of important votes. So I'm not going to expel the guy from the caucus. So
I also noticed he split his vote. Like even he was kind of diffident about it, you know.
yeah, well, of course, I think more people should have split their votes. I think it was ridiculous. On the Democrat side, they should have said, okay, we'll go with you on abuse of power, but this obstruction of Congress is total horseshit. So I thought that was weird. I really predicted that Sinema and Jones and Manchin would at least acknowledge that if you don't subpoena somebody or you yank a subpoena and don't follow through, how could it be obstruction of Congress? But they all went through little ants marching. And so I'm not really worried about that because they just kind of played into our hand on that. Manchin has screwed himself. The president's going to get revenge on him.
Yeah.
I mean, the president's got 68% approval rating in West Virginia. I mean, Manchin's a dead man walking on that front. Or if the president wants to let him kneel before him and be a vote that passes something for us, you never know. You never know how things are going to work. But
You mean like the vote for Amy Barrett? They won't need him for that. Well, you never know. I don't know. I'd much rather see him gone. West Virginia deserves to have a Republican on top there.
Yeah. Yeah. And last year he was talking about changing parties too.
Yeah, but he just voted for impeachment, right? How do you change parties?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's done.
Yep.
Yeah, unless he does some spectacular mea culpa tour. I was forced to do it. I woke up with a horse head in my bed with Nancy Pelosi's writing scribbled on a piece of paper nailed to the horse's head. And I don't think anyone would believe it. Christopher Walken, Continental. Where did the discipline come from the Democrats to get all their people to vote for conviction?
I would like to address that because I heard this rumor that Mitt Romney's vote on one article, Article 1, allowed all the Democrats to stay together. What a bunch of horse shit that is. What a total misread of the cards that is. I forget who put out that tweet. Somebody pretty substantial credentials, I think. But no, that's not true at all. And it was at grave mortal political danger that Doug Jones decided to do that. Cinema decided to do that, and basically made Joe Manchin a lame duck for another 4 years. And we also had Mitt Romney, a lame duck for you. Listen, when you're from the state of Utah, you can't decide to all of a sudden become, quasi-liberal because you're pissed off at the world. I mean, they'll burn your freaking offices down You can't do that. I mean, Utah is one of the top 3 most conservative Republican states in the country. And so Romney has no room to move. So everything now that he does has to be a conciliatory gesture, everything. And maybe he knows that, maybe he doesn't, but he's going to find out one way or another. But certainly, did that vote help Sinema and Jones and Manchin? No, that was always going to happen. They were going to stay together. And, it's the old Billy Joel song. We'll all go down together.
Thanks for watching the MAGA Coalition channel. Remember to subscribe to our channel and turn notifications on to get the best political analysis that is free of clickbait and gaslighting. Because in a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.